and it's taken that long to just start to get bookings like rolling in. I didn't upload anything yesterday, and it was honestly just because I didn't really want to. I think that's okay. If you asked me if that was okay last year or even 6 months ago, I probably would have argued with you and fought you on that. But as of just recently, I'm learning how to really, well, if I need a break, then I'll take a break. I've made videos about this before, but I feel every time I take a break, I feel the need to at least acknowledge it, so that you know that I just decided that there was thought behind the decision. For those of you that don't know, Savannah and I have we have a photo wedding photography or production company business that we run, and that is like a major part of our income. Like that's probably one of our full-time jobs. And up until this point, we've been mostly in like the Nashville area, but over the course of the end of last year and certainly this year, we've started doing a lot more travel weddings, and along with doing those travel weddings, we've started booking more travel weddings. Like yesterday, we just booked, it was like 2 or 3 different California weddings, and that was something that we thought about booking those, or we thought about the possibility of booking those almost 2 years ago, and it's taken that long to just start to get bookings like rolling in. And I think a lot of times when people go into business for themselves or make a YouTube channel or do whatever, they expect like success to happen like that, and that's not really the case most of the time. There are those cases that people do that does happen, but that's very small, and it's not very common. Most of the time what happens is it takes years and years and years of planning, and eventually over the course of working your butt off, trial and error, you start to see some momentum in whatever you wanted to do. And us booking out-of-state weddings, travel weddings, and California weddings is no exception to that. We still do a lot of Nashville, Tennessee weddings, but it's starting to get to the point where it's starting to even itself out. And I would probably say that eventually we're probably going to do more travel weddings than we are Nashville weddings, and that's okay. I say all that just to say, if you feel like you want to do something but you're not getting the momentum that you need right away, that's okay. It's going to take time, and whatever you're doing, it doesn't even have to be video. It could be just like starting a new company or just learning a skill. It's going to take time, and you just have to be patient with it. Like I had that revelation this morning when like one of the final confirmations came through for one of the weddings. Also, they're like tearing up the road outside of our house, and I'm not really sure why. It was a perfectly good road, and it was like one of the few places in Tennessee where there's no potholes, and now it's just a giant construction zone. Like they cut holes in the road, they made potholes, and I don't understand why. That's a truck, potholes. Now, there are other tricks, like if you want to start shooting weddings outside of like wherever you're originally from, and they're just mostly advertising tricks, and the biggest one is probably going to be having content to show like that you're capable of shooting that kind of wedding. So if you want to shoot a beach wedding, have beach content. If you want to shoot a wedding in Italy, have something that looks like Italy, or better, have Italy-based content to show clients that you can actually do it, you can actually perform in those locations. And a good way to do that without if you have no catalog to start with, is offering free sessions. When we were in Italy, Savannah offered some free sessions to somebody that she just happened to reach out to, and ended up working out, and we got content, they got pictures, and it was all for free. But we're able to use those marketing tools to market in that region. Same thing with the beach. We originally started by shooting friends and family for free because we have family that lives near the beach, and eventually, because of that, people saw those and bookings started rolling in for that. And it's just kind of a snowball that goes down the hill. But you initially have to start with pretty much offering things for free, or at a very, very low cost to whoever's doing it, because they're kind of taking a chance on you. like I said before, all of that is going to take time, and you're just going to have to be patient and be consistent. Consistency is also something that's really, really important. And you just eventually it'll work. You just have to keep trying. At least that's from our experience, and I think it's true for most people, that if you're just consistent, and if you're consistent, it'll work eventually. It's just a matter of how long it will take. We have a couple of returns that we have to do, which are probably the most uninteresting. They're probably the worst possible errands to ever do, because you're not even getting anything. You're just returning things that you thought would actually work, but they're not. All to be said, we have returns to do. I don't know if this is just me, but I found like if I buy a bunch of stuff on Amazon, then typically I won't be able to return everything at the same location. Like, we're literally going to Whole Foods, Staples, and UPS, all for Amazon. But all of the Amazon products require different locations for the return. So all that being said, this whole trip is purely and nothing but returns for Amazon. And on our way to the first location, Savannah had to make a phone call for another possible booking. Savannah decided to go into the Whole Foods by herself, and I'm just babysitting the car, just because it was just faster if I just sat in the car and then picked her up at the door. I'm waiting for that to happen. I think the biggest thing with whatever, if you want to do travel weddings, or even if you want to do regional weddings, or just anything in general, especially with stuff like photography and videography, I think a big aspect that nobody really talks about is the importance of advertising. And advertising intentionally. I think when we were trying to get into the Southern California market, which is a perfect example, we would specifically target that region, meaning that we would take pictures there. We would go and get pictures of people at those locations that people typically would want to be photographed at, put those on our website, put those on our Instagram, and not just do it one time, but do it a couple of different times and keep at it. And it was about probably 4 or 5 months of us actively trying to do that, and post those on our Instagram feed, that we actually started getting interest in the bookings. Typically, when people see one time, you at one place one time, you're gonna have to do it a couple of times to ingrain in them to oh, okay, maybe they could shoot something for me. And if you can photograph places famous places at those locations, that's a really good way of showing people what you can actually do with places that the chances of people wanting to take pictures at those locations is going to be a lot greater. But I think at the heart of it, like I said before, it's all going to come down to consistency. Consistency is the key to booking travel weddings and location weddings and destination, all that stuff. When we first started shooting in Montana, we started doing that 4 years ago. And this year we're going back. We'll be shooting by the end of this year. It'll be 5 weddings we've shot in Montana, and all of that started because of that first wedding. And then the second wedding happened, and then we started getting more inquiries more frequently because people saw we were there not once but twice. I don't know where Savannah is.